and I'm not even going to give myself a disclaimer. So something I wanted to talk about, because a lot of it is stuff that we're thinking about or should be thinking about or hearing about. And, I thought it would be a wonderful conversation for us to have. So, money focus. These are things that you should focus on or could focus on at any given time. But during a time of, money concerns, during a time of not understanding what's happening, or not necessarily not understanding, but wondering what will happen with the US dollar, the economy, and things of that nature. Some of the things that you can do to make sure that you're not freaking out or that you're not making poor decisions with your money. So one thing, and I think it is probably the thing you consider the least, when there's a concern of changes in the economy, one thing I would suggest is making sure that you're making the maximum amount of money you can make, leaving no coins unturned, no money on the table, no holes in your business. That's the first thing, because an accumulation can position you to do some of the things that you need. So making sure that you are collecting all the money, because you don't necessarily know what's gonna happen months or years down. So accumulate, make all the money. And then how is that helping? So some ways you can make sure you're positioning yourself: attend conferences. We have a conference coming up in May, the Multiple Six-Figure Year Wealth Conference. Make sure you're expanding your knowledge so you can expand your money. That would be first. How does that help? One, because you have more money to do the things that you need to do. That's first. Second, with focusing in this economy and, possible changes with stocks, US dollars, and things of that nature, is to make sure that once you're accumulating more money, you're not keeping it in cash. You're not keeping it in cash. Because if you have concerns about the economy, or you having concerns, or you're unsure of what's going to happen in those areas, it doesn't necessarily make sense for you to keep something that you're unsure about. So think about ways that you can then buy, purchase, and secure assets that are sustainable. So some types of assets that are sustainable or are much more sustainable than cash, even though cash is still king, but we don't know what that cash is gonna look like, is real estate. Because regardless of what's happening, people gonna need somewhere to, one of the top, I think, assets, people always gonna need somewhere to live, for the most part, unless everybody don't have nowhere to live. For the most part, if we still living in houses and in buildings, people are going to need somewhere to live. So it's a great time to start seeing how you can secure real estate assets. Something else, what types of things could you use in your business to help make sure that you're constantly making money, or that your money can grow during these times? So that would be the second thing, is purchasing things to make sure that regardless of what happened, my business, so some software that you've been putting off, an assistant that can help you with a part of your business that you haven't been able to get to. So these things can help grow your income during these times so that you can invest in other things. So we don't look at our business enough as an asset, but making sure your business is positioned so you can constantly be making money. That would be something else as well. And then the third thing, to make sure that you are positioning yourself in any economy, regardless of what is looming, is the products and services that are most sustainable. Products and services that are most sustainable. And what I mean by that, I have some clients that are in some markets that will always be needed. That will always be needed. And so because of that, they take less hits when the economy changes. I'm not saying they are immune, but they have a higher immunity than certain sectors of business. So what the hell am I talking about, right? So let's say you offer a service. Do you offer a service to clients that regardless of what happens in the economy will still be able to pay? Or will you immediately take a hit? Or, you know, the big thing is AI as well. Is your business in a sector that is really rooted in things that people are going to need? So let's say your business is rooted in something that people, regardless of the economy, regardless of AI, regardless of whatever, it is something that people are going to need. And then let's say you are then one of my business coaching clients. Then now you're going to stay a client because your business is something that is going to still be on and popping, for lack of a better word. So position your products and services so think about it, like, what is it that in any economy people are still going to need? Hygiene products, you know, I'm thinking certain communities are going to need hygiene products, but you know, just thinking about some things, childcare, healthcare, some sectors are going to be consistently. That's why if you think about it, during the pandemic, there were bottling companies. So this is an example of what I mean. During the pandemic, there were bottling companies that were, let's say, beer bottlers, or they bottled water or whatever prior to the pandemic. Well, during the pandemic, they switched over to hand sanitizer bottlers. And what that did was that brought on a whole new revenue to their business and allowed them to be sustainable. So thinking about what pivots you can make and things of that nature. Also, some people who were seamstress started to make masks for different companies and organizations, which also brought in a whole nother stream of income. So thinking about ways that you can pivot in the economy will also make sure that you continue to be making money. And during this time, remember, number one was figure out how to continue to grow your income. So those are some of the things that during any economy, during any uncertainty that is outside of your control, focus on what is in your control and figure out how to grow. Number one, figure out how to make more money, how to grow your income so that you can do other things that you need to do to position yourself. And then number two is take the money that you're growing or money that you may have just sitting in a bank account and buy assets that are more sustainable. And that could be putting money back into your business. That could be purchasing real estate because people always need somewhere to stay. You know, that could be land for garden. I mean, you know your community more than I know your community, but consider purchasing assets versus just sitting on a bunch of cash. Notice I did not say spend it on frivolous things, but how can I position myself to continually be making money? How can I position myself to have multiple streams of income in case one of these decides to act up? In case one stream of income decides to act up. And then the third one is position your products and services in a way that they are extremely sustainable in any economy. And I gave you an example of that. What things are people always going to need? What things are people always going to buy? How could you pivot if you had to? And what holes do you have in your business that's not allowing you to maximize income and client potential? So those are some of the money focuses that even myself, some of the things that I'm sharing with my clients, some of the things that I've been researching, because, you know, I love a dollar, and, you know, I might have to change it, you know, because they're talking about the name might change. I do love a money. That's always going to be the case. So I do attempt to stay abreast of, look, I'm messing with the camera. abreast of changes in economy and purchasing power and things of that nature. So in any economy, focus on those 3 things so that you can position your business. Let's see.